My mom was like the type of person you had to pat down after a hug. She's a fucking thief. She would steal your spirit if you let her. My mom used to bring me with her to go stealing, but I never knew I was doing anything wrong because she made it fun. It was this little game we played called Hold This. To this day, I look back like, what the hell did I need queen-size pantyhose for? It's got me stealing random shit.
Living in Philly, I could definitely be your son. Everybody became parents like in 10th grade.
You
Yes,
have
everybody in King. Not me, I'm not a parent, but I went to King.
King.
Like most of my friends, or most of the people I was acquainted with in King are parents
They
now.
had to
and they
shut
were
down
friends.
King. There are no more King graduates, are there not?
No, I thought they got bought out by like some sort of like military program, but it's still Martin Luther King. They shut it down.
King. I don't know. I mean, I drive by Ada Lewis.
Yeah, I remember
That
Ada
thing is
Lewis.
over. I mean, I went to, where did I go to high school? I went to Central.
Yeah.
But when I was in grade school at Jenks, they would have like an exchange thing where they would send, they had programs over there. Actually my first introduction to film was at Ada Lewis, which was like they had like a little, you could take film and do like Super 8 stuff. So like in 7th grade or so, they would bus us over. That'd be half our day, just taking the bus there.
Yeah.
And I was at Lewis, and then they would send kids to Jenks to do shop. So that was my first.
Oh, that's when they still cared about the development of children. We didn't get none of that. We didn't get no film program or nothing.
West Oak Lane?
I lived in West Oak Lane. I lived in Mount Airy though.
Okay. All right. Well, okay.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers. I'm
Boom.
Mount Airy. Okay. East Mount Airy.
Yeah.
Street. Where
Williams Ave, 8600 of Williams Avenue.
Okay, that's a little further east on the other side of Stanton.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so all right. I never knew that about you.
I lived all over. I didn't live far from here. I lived around 32nd and Norris. Then I lived on 30th and Allegheny.
Okay.
The whole foster care thing, I lived everywhere in Philly.
Right, yeah, you talk about that in your act. So you grew up in foster care.
Yes.
But you also talk about your parents, so that kind of throws me off a little bit.
So what happened, most people think, they confuse foster care with adoption.
Okay.
And they're in foster care, the process is, well, we're gonna foster you until you reunite with your family or family member, or
the police come.
Oh yeah, this is the outcome for a lot of people. She didn't have no urgency in her face. She was driving like this. They're gonna be dead when we get there.
I pray they're okay.
Yeah, I hope so too.
They could be on their way to Wendy's. Sometimes when people they just put them sirens on.
And it's like move, move, move.
I need my 4 for 4.
Yes. It's it's 2 for 6 now.
Oh, they changed it.
Yeah.
Why do I know this? Why would I know what Wendy's specials are? You're losing weight. And
I don't need it no more. That was the thing. I cut out that part. And if I eat bad, it's like ice cream once in a while.
That's your addiction?
That's my addiction.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're unlike most Negroes, you're not lactose intolerant, or maybe you
are.
Oh
no, I'm severe. I always stay with lactate pills.
Okay.
Like Viagra. This is how I get down.
See, genetically.
Yes. I stay with them. I stay strapped.
Or else you get the rumble guts. And gas. And all that stuff.
But no, we're talking about the foster care thing.
Foster care. So yeah.
So it's either you are being fostered to adopt or you're being fostered until you reunite with your family. And my mom never gave up rights. So she was in and out of my life, but we never lived together. As long as I've been I think to the age of 7 is when I went into foster care, but we really didn't live together. We did like weekend visits, and I would stay with my grandma, and she would come visit, or she would come to the group home or the foster home and see me that day for supervised visits. But yeah, we never lived together. I've never lived with my sisters or anything like that.
Oh, okay. So you were by yourself. You knew your sisters. You knew your mother. You knew your father.
We were in one group home together, but it was like female side, guy side. It's like different cottages, but same campus.
Wow.
And we did that, and then for maybe half a school year, we lived in Maryland with my dad's side of the family, with his grandma, and we lived together, and then my grandmother dropped us right back off in Philly and was like, deuces. And then we went right back into foster care.
Wow. Well, I know you talk a lot about your pain in your act, but you come off as well adjusted.
That's the trick. The trick is because if they feel like you're still in it, then they don't want to laugh because they're like, oh, that's fucked up. But if they feel like you've made it out and then you're better in that situation, that gives them the freedom to laugh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was raised by my grandparents. I mean, we were just sharing.
Wow.
Like, I didn't have that much strife, but there's certainly not knowing my dad was a lot of pain.
Yeah.
It makes that kind of thing. They took the adversity makes you stronger. It makes you have a willpower to overcome certain things, and I think that's why you see a lot of black folks making it in show business and entertainment, because it's like you have to use your imagination.
Yes.
You place yourself in a position of power or greatness or whatever. So, so those lonely nights, sitting in the foster care, rain pounding against the window, and you're just wondering when am I gonna get my next Now-Laters? Or you gotta hide things. Is it equivalent to jail, being in those places?
Man, well, see, that's the thing. I've never been to jail, but I've been to residential facilities for kids who are like in juvenile detention centers and stuff. Right. And I wasn't in a juvenile detention center, but they're pretty much the same shit.
Yeah, it's in institutions.
Yeah. So, yeah, that you are in there where you're told when to eat, what to wear, all that stuff. And then you go into foster care, and then you get a little bit of freedom, but that's still the same thing. You better eat this, wear this, be home in this time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, most people need that structure.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it, other than the sense. Well, I mean, you saw your parents, so I'm not gonna say abandonment.
Well, I saw my mom. I didn't reconnect with my dad until I'm 32 now, 28.
Wow.
Yeah, 28.
That's a lot of pain.
Yeah.
You must be one funny mom.
Dude.
You know, Eddie Murphy, he watched his dad get shot. That's why he's so funny.
Really?
Oh, yeah, when he was like 8, his dad got shot in front of him.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So that's why he's all, you know.
And that's why he don't care, though. I feel like you got to have the bravery to be creative. You know what I mean? Because we think a lot of stuff, but then to show that to people and to show that to an audience or the world, that takes a lot of bravery. And when you have like stuff like that, you're like, I ain't afraid of nothing. I lost my dad. He got shot in front of me at 8. Yeah. I don't care. Yeah.
Basically, yeah. Or maybe not the exact story. Maybe he came home, his dad wasn't there. He found out he got shot or something like that.
Oh,
but
okay.
at 8 years
That's
old,
some Batman shit.
And his stepfather is Vernon is the one.
Yeah.
That took care of him, all that stuff. But you can watch the Eddie Murphy biography special for that. We're with Monroe Martin.
Yes, watch that.
Philly's own, Mount Airy.
Yes.
All over Philly.
All over Frankfurt, Northeast, all that stuff.
So you claim everything.
I have to.
So when did you dream of making it, and when did you know you were gonna make it?
Okay, so
and don't fuck up, because otherwise this tape will be used. I'll be making more money off of it.
I know.
Shall you fuck up? I'll make more money than if you stay on the path and you just do relatively well as a celebrity.
No.
But if you start having Kanye moments, then we see the views go up. And
yeah, I know. I can't do that for you.
But I promise everybody you're well adjusted. I'm well adjusted. And completely hilarious.
Or I stay out of the eyes of the public whenever you're having these crazy thoughts. You know?
You find a piece of paper.
Yes, you find a piece of paper, or you tell it to somebody you can trust.
You don't call Harvey and say, I need to be on your show now.
No, you don't do that. I talk to Derek, I talk to my lady. Well, if me and my lady don't work out, she'll be like, this motherfucker crazy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we're off track. All right, so we'll get into crazy thoughts in a second. But all right, so when did you have this dream of being? It's
weird, but comedy wasn't something that I thought was real. Like, it wasn't a real goal of mine until I started. You know, and it sounds morbid, but I would tell my friends, I go, yeah, I didn't have a dream to do anything. Once I got out of foster care, I just started going with the flow. And I remember my last foster home, I was watching like Coming to the Stage and all that stuff. Remember that show?
Vaguely, yeah. Was it
BET's.
Like
it was No, that's Who Got Jokes.
Okay.
Coming to the Stage was BET's version of Last Comic Standing, and I remember watching that with my foster mom and loving that show and all that stuff. And she would go, "I can see you doing something like that." She would just.
She just threw that right into your head.
She just threw that right into my head. She was like, "I can see you doing this." And I was like, I don't know why she thinks that, but And it would just circulate in my head and go back. I'm out of the house, I move out of the house. I already graduated high school and I don't have no job. I ain't doing anything. And that summer, me and my friend were hanging out early in the morning on this stoop. Trash truck goes by. And on the back of the trash truck is one of the comics who was on the show.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm like, dude, that's the bull. Like, that's the bull. That's the bull from the show. And I'm like, yo, and I'm yelling his name. I don't want to say his name because I don't know if he tells people that. Okay. But I'm like, yo. And he's ignoring me. And I'm like, I know. Like, I loved you on the show. He's like, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, man. And then trash, and then went. And from there, I went, I can probably do this. If a trash truck driver can do it, I can do it. Not like shitting on him or anything, but to me, you see somebody on TV, you're like famous.
Okay.
But that made it more realistic when I seen the guy on the back of the trash truck. I went, he's not famous, but he figured it out. Yeah. And then, so I started that year, but because another friend of mine, I'll mention his name is Wes Gill. He's a poet. And I used to like follow him around at different poetry slams and all that stuff. And he'll be like, yeah, you should probably do comedy. And I'm like, I'm all right. And he's like, well, I'm gonna do comedy. And I'm like, fine. I go with him to the Laugh House and he gets there a little before me. And he goes, oh, I signed you up. And I'm like, what?
Wow.
Yeah, he signed me up.
But were you like funny? Or they just
fuck no, it was terrible.
Well, I'm just saying, like, why would even people see this in you?
I was funny. I feel like civilian funny is you ignore that filter. You ignore that thing that everybody goes, I shouldn't be saying this.
Okay.
And I didn't care at that point. So to them, that was like, he don't care. He's funny. He should be on stage. And I sucked for 2 to 3 months. I sucked for a long time. But for 2 to 3 months, I was stinking, and Miss Mona at the Laugh House was like, you can't come back until you write some jokes. And every week on open mic, I would show up with my joke book, and I know she wasn't reading it. She'd just be like, no, and then tell me to get out of her face. And then I'll leave, but then that forced me to start really trying to find stage time and build relationships. And I got cool with Chris Cotton, I got cool with Tommy Too Smooth, Lawrence Killebrew, Derek Gaines, all those guys, because I was denied there, so that forced me to go out and prove to myself that I really wanted to do this.
Yeah, you kind of looked into a specific time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know Laugh House certainly was the center, but there were so many people like 10 years ago in Philly. Not like, I'd say bookending, like if you're gonna draw a rough outline between like Kevin Hart and you, I think there's a nice opportunity for just funny black dudes and dudettes to get stage time here in Philly, because not only did you have Laugh House but you also had all these sort of satellite. You
had Helium, then you had Comedy Cabaret, then you had Chris had started Raven after a while, then other people started doing other shows. And so you can get up like 1 to 2 times a night, but you can pretty much get up every single day of the week. Lickety Splits was remember Lickety Split? Lickety Split was a comedy show.
I shot there, yeah.
Yes, down the street.
Teray did it. Yeah.
No, but that wasn't his show. That was Damon Dietzman's show.
But I'm saying, like, when I met you, we were filming Teray and B Flat's shows, and one night we were Lickety Split. One of the funniest.
On South Street, down the street from the Laugh House. Yeah.
Yeah. No, this guy. He's always around. Oh shit! I'll come. This guy. He's. I mean, well, name some Philly comics. This guy.
You got
Buck Wild.
Buck Wild.
Buck
Okay,
Wild
cool.
is the funniest thing I ever saw, man.
What
He
did
was just, we didn't find out he does it all the time, but
Okay.
he's talking about no filter. Buck
Yeah.
Wild. He's somebody.
I love Buck.
That nigga crazy. He's just saying the craziest shit. But
Yeah.
I mean, but the environment also, just a
Yeah.
black audience. I mean, I think there's something like some people they'll criticize black audiences and black comedy because they say, well, it doesn't challenge you to like appeal to everybody. But at the same time, I think they can be rough on you. You have to find you're funny. And you're kind of funny pretty quickly.
I think this is what it does. It teaches you to urban. They confuse black audience with urban. Two different things. Not everybody's black. It's urban. You grew up in Mount Airy. You grew up in West Oak Lane.
Right.
You're not hood.
Right.
That's not.
Yeah.
This is not hood. You know what I mean? But they confuse that.
Right.
But urban teaches you to plant your feet in the dirt. And you got two type of comics. You got the comics who are going to be their brand of funny no matter what, and then you got the comics that are going to pander. And then whatever the room is, they'll talk about that even if it really doesn't represent them because they want to win. And I had help going to this side because Naeem seen that I like writing jokes, I liked telling jokes about Ninja Turtles and all that stuff, and he told Derek, he was like, that's the one. He was like, that's the dude right there. You need to watch him.
Talking about Naeem Lim.
Naeem Lim, yeah.
Classic Cup Boys.
Yep. And then he told me, he was like, you're going to have a hard time because you do rooms like this, but just keep doing you. You'll be fine.
Right.
Yeah. And like hearing that was like, all right. So I never wanted to go up there like, remember growing up poor and having the two TVs, one for color and one for sound? I never did that because I had other people I've seen not doing that who are like, oh, you don't have to
Right.
lie to make them laugh.
Right.
You know, but once you learn how to plant your feet in sand, when you go to every different room, you can do that same material and make everybody laugh.
Right.
You know Anton Schubert?
I know. Yeah, I met him.
Funny dude. He would do the Laugh House and Helium and never change his set. Same set, kill.
Right.
Yeah, and that's important.
So I mean, what was the process of finding your funny? Because I know it always takes a bit of time for you to even maintain your confidence. It sounds like you didn't want to be rejected from the Laugh House because a lot of people
Hell no.
would just give up on it.
No, I didn't want to be rejected from the Laugh House because it felt like it was important. Every time you walked into the Laugh House, it was like all the heavy hitters are there. The funniest of funny people were there. And not shitting on Helium, but when you walked in Helium, everybody was like, you know what I mean? Like not everybody was confident, except if they were already selling out that place. You had Laugh House, you had open micers who are confident. And I was like, I want to be there. I want to be where all the confident people are. So I wanted to get into the Laugh House. And I didn't move to New York until I was able to host there at the Laugh House. Once I was able to host, I was like, all right, I should go. And then once I left, I started featuring. And then they moved me up to headliner, and then it closed. And that was probably my fault.
Well, we weren't supporting it. I mean, there are a lot of factors. I know when Laugh House closed, a lot of people they lost their rudder. They had no place to go. Yeah. And there were a lot of people tried to, like Keith from Up the Block opened his own night. I mean, there were like about 5 different satellite.
Miss Mona died. Miss Mona was the backbone of that place.
Oh, I didn't realize that was what
happened. That's what happened. No slight to Mr. Rod, but everybody knows that Miss Mona and her daughter and everybody were the backbone of holding that place together and making sure that it ran like a business. And then once she died, motherfuckers started stealing chicken wings and alcohol. I was seeing people sneaking bags of chicken wings in their coat like, all right, I'll see y'all later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna. Well, I'll speak. I went to one. Well, there's definitely a stratification between Helium and what the Laugh House was for sure.
Yeah.
And I think what I appreciate about Laugh House was it did give opportunities to a lot of people, and folks could always take pride that folks like Kevin would come back.
Yeah.
And they would bring in headliners.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of people that you could learn from without having to travel.
And the Laugh House had, and people like, they was like, oh, but that's the Black Club. I'm like, Bill Burr made his first album there. Emotionally Unavailable was made at the Laugh House, and he's not an urban comic.
Well,
so
David Brenner had it first.
But he still did it under Miss Mona.
Oh, for real?
Yes.
Okay. See my ignorance here.
Yeah,
All
he
right.
did it under Miss Mona. They had a lot of good people there. Joe DeRosa. Joe DeRosa's not urban. Big J. Ogerson's not urban. Mikey Vecchione, you know what I mean? They still show love to funny people.
Right. So, I mean, who, besides the people that you named, I mean, what words of advice did you get from some people that were just kind of passing through or?
Passing through, the Keith Robinson. But the first time when I met him at the Laugh House, he was like, I got introduced to him through a comic named Belinda, and she was like, hey Keith, this is a very funny comic, young man, Monroe Martin. He went, I don't want to meet the nigga. And then walked away, and I was like, he's an asshole, right? Fast forward to when I finally moved to New York, and Chris Cotton knows Keith, because Keith and Chris's dad and his cousins, they all grew up together in South Philly. So Chris is like, yeah, I'm going to meet Keith. I'm like, Keith was an asshole, this, that, and the third. I was wrong, because he wasn't. Right. He said when I told him the story, he's like, I was fucking with you. He was like, it was your fault for being so sensitive.
That's
so
true.
We get cool, it was.
It's true.
So we get cool, and Keith goes, I want to see your set. And I'm like, bet. I do. I put together my tight 5-minute set. He gets me a guest spot at this place called CB's, and I do good. And the owner of the club was like, cool, I like you, come around. And as I'm walking with my confidence, Keith goes, what the fuck was that? As I'm leaving, he goes, what the fuck was that? And I'm like, what? He goes, I can tell you're funny, but you weren't talking about shit. He's like, you weren't talking about nothing. There was no substance to it. Because I was just talking about things I see, or I was creating situations to show my creativity. Right. And he was like, you can do all that with something real. He was like, how'd you grow up? What's your mom and dad like? And I was like, well, I grew up in foster care, so I don't really have nothing to talk about. He was like, you do. He was like, that shit is interesting and it'll take you places. He was like, you talk about that and you'll have a career. And I'm gonna say 2.5 to maybe like 3 years later, he was right. I did Montreal, I did Last Comic Standing, Tonight Show. Like shit just kept stacking up because I gave them something to sit on and
your
think.
Personal perspective.
And they were like, yeah, we know that people go through foster care, but we've never seen somebody talk about it in such a way that we don't feel bad and we are learning and all that stuff.
So you had to spill a little of your blood.
But he taught me that you have to give them something to latch on to.
Well, I'm saying it in a way, but that really is what art is. Like, Sonia Sisters, like, I taste my blood and I like it. Yeah. That's what the true art is, and people need to see it. It thinks there's a price for everything. So those lonely, rainy nights, maybe.
Man, it's worth it. But I still deal with that stuff because I still have a relationship with my mom, and it's so weird that I have a career, but then I have the relationship with the person, like you. I think it's Tony Robbins is the motivational speaker.
Yes.
I don't really like the most motivational speakers. They are like, they know what they're doing, where they're like, all right, we're just doing this for the money. We know the right thing to say. But he said this one thing, he was like, we blame people for all the wrong they've done, but we never give them credit for the right they've done. And the way he said, he's like, yeah, my mom was abusive and this, that, and the third, but without that process, I wouldn't be here because that gave me strength and that gave me the adversity to want more. And that made sense to my situation where I stopped being mad at my mom. I'm like, yeah, she fucked up my life, but now I got a better one out of it. You know what I mean?
Well, everybody gets to that point where you have to forgive your parents.
Even though you don't want to. You know, when I buy her gifts for Christmas, I'm like, you don't really, I give them like this. Like I keep a tight grip, like here you go.
It's still a little, you look for the extension cords.
Yeah.
Or just the fear of abandonment. What is,
like, I know.
What is the thing? Is it like you're going to leave and I'm not going to see you for weeks?
Yeah.
Or is it like you're really going to say something really that's going to hurt me?
Yeah.
Because you're my mom and you're like one of the few people in the world that can really fucking say anything.
Yes.
And I have no retort.
Like I want to buy her a phone, but don't give her the charger. You know, just like petty stuff like that. Just here's a new phone. Oh, there's no charger. When it dies, it dies.
Well, I'm sure has she said she loves you yet?
Yeah, my mom loves me. My mom, and it's weird that she protected me when my dad, because basically when my dad got in my life, the first thing he started doing was he did the, I'm proud of you, I see you doing this and this and this, to, well, why do you gotta talk about me and us and your act and this, that, and third? And my mom, they were having a conversation, and my mom was like, this is, you can't get mad at him for what we've done. And this is his outlet. Leave him alone.
Right.
Let him do it. And her doing that, I was like, okay, she knows. But she learns. She learned, and you know, and that was the most important thing to me.
Well, I mean that's life. Amen to you.
Thank you.
You know, but I think you get to a point where you just say, look, nobody comes with an instruction manual, and maybe there's this belief that life is better for other people because of what we see on TV.
Yeah.
But everybody's got their stuff to deal with. And they got to overcome it, or else they're going to succumb to it. So I'm sure you get a lot of responses. I mean, the laughter is what is the result, right?
Yeah, the laughter is the result, but then you still we're greedy. We want more than laughter. Okay. When we go in there, I want that, ooh, ah, because that builds for stomach laughs. If you get them emotionally invested where they hate you, then they love you. I want that. I want love, hate, love, hate, love, hate, love, hate, boom. I want that. That's what Patrice O'Neal had.
Okay, well, speak to Patrice. I've been watching a lot of his stuff, listening.
I was, the first taping I've ever went to, like comedy taping, was Elephant in the Room.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and I got that. It's so crazy. I got that from like signing up on this thing called Blacklist, which I'm very cool with the lady. She's gonna do, whenever I do a special, she's gonna be the audience coordinator. Like me and her are tight now. I signed up on the list and I asked Derek, I asked everybody, yo, I got one more ticket to go see Patrice shoot a special, you wanna go? Nah, I'm good. I'm gonna meet this chick, I knew I was gonna do that too.
I was
counting down, but I'm glad it wasn't this one.
Please don't.
Yeah, I removed this too, just in case.
Clumsy, 6'5" and
yeah,
clumsy.
Of course.
Patrice O'Neal.
Patrice O'Neal. And I remember everybody going, no, I can't go. So I showed up and I was like, it's just me. And she was like, all right, cool, we'll put you here. I was the third row in front center. So when he's talking about that chick, I'm like right behind her. Where he's like, I can't make you laugh. I'm like right there. Mm-hmm. And just seeing him command the room, but seeing him, every joke started off with them going, and then, because they hated him. Right. But they trusted him. So they hated him like, oh, how dare him talk about women like that. And then the moment he made his point, they loved him. And I love that. And I'm like, that's what I want as a comic. I want that roller coaster of emotion. Yeah. Because I feel like the first thing we learn in comedy is how to, me and Derek call it skipping rocks. Was that you just go laugh, 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 laugh. We know how to do that. You string a bunch of jokes together. But then I'm like, okay, I want to make, Ray does it. Ray is perfect at it. He's like for me, he's on Patrice level. And I don't think people give him that credit. Or at least they don't push him to that forefront. Well,
when you watch a Ray show, it's like he's surfing. It's just he's so laid back about his material. Yeah. But he owns the room for sure.
But he makes you love him and hate him. So it's just that wave. And that's what I want.
I think Ray is a little more across the board likable.
Yeah.
Because I think he like Patrice really hated himself.
He was polarizing.
He hated himself.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
He's a very depressed individual. But
I didn't know that, because you know him personally.
Well, I met him a couple times. I didn't know him the way like Keith did. I interviewed him. I mean, but he's just very down on himself, but he's very open about his pain.
Yeah.
And very real, very truthful about the things that he learned about life.
Yeah.
As he was living it, and very philosophical. I think his material. It just stands as truth.
Yeah.
And I think that's where he never, even the earliest Patrice stuff that I've seen, he's never had fear.
Yeah.
But I think as he developed, he really learned how to control that psychic energy of a room by bringing up things that would make people uncomfortable.
They'll be like, oh, and then, but I'll say the same thing with, and that's what sorry, I'm losing my train of thought, but that's what I want. I want to be able, yesterday, I liked my set, but I'm like, all right, this is what I would have done. Because I should have strung this with this and then opened up more about this so this could hit harder. Yeah. I should have been more personal here, and that's what I'm always thinking about. It's how I want to be so personal to the point where people feel like we're friends, like we've been friends for a long time.
Well, you had a fairly easy room yesterday because it was small and it was mostly family.
Yeah.
But I could see, I mean, the material's solid, but I think there's a, and then your time constraint. You had a very tough time. I wouldn't beat myself up about yesterday's set. I mean, but you do have you are working two different styles. I noticed, like you have the conversational kind of Cosby,
and then
I'm gonna
joke.
I'm gonna give you a whole story told from my perspective, and then there's stuff that is just hard hitting, laugh stuff.
And that's just how my brain works. Like I feel like if I do too much of the same thing, then they'll catch the rhythm. And then if they catch the rhythm, they're not laughing because of the material, they're laughing because they're in the rhythm. So they know how it goes already. Right. So I always want to throw them off. And I didn't realize I was telling stories because to me they were long jokes. And then I started listening to them. I go, oh, this is a full punch up story. And I'm like, okay, I'll put this here and then I'll do something about cops or trying to make a point with like teachers and stuff.
So here's the thing. I mean, do you write this or do you go on stage and work it out and then you make notes
half
later?
and half. I'll write down as much as I can remember without compromising the thought. Because what I used to do was I would write it out fully, and when you bring it to the stage, I would try to mimic what I wrote on paper instead of going, well, what did I feel when I wrote it? So I would write enough so I could remember it and then go on stage with it and like, all right, oh, this is funny. Let me take that. Okay, this. And then after I felt like I got the joke in a good enough position, then I will rewrite it and then look at it and go, now I can start implementing, like writing jokes and stuff in there.
Well, before we start, I was saying like this iPhone is like the best invention in the world for creative people because everything's there. Yeah. Right. So I noticed, first of all, I saw Kevin Hart work things out and he puts everything right into the phone.
It's easy.
And then he just goes through his bullet points and then he just tells the story and he's finding how audience is reacting, and then he sort of, but he's what 20 years in on it, so he's got that. And then for me, I'm always telling people, make yourself the star of your show. Yeah. Like instead of looking at everybody else's Instagram and trying to pretend to be them. Yeah. Like take an hour, take a moment out every day and like just be real with yourself. Be real about your own thing. But the moment.
What do you mean? Elaborate on that.
Well, I'm saying all right.
You talking about social media or?
Well, just in general, sometimes like you walk down the street and mugs be on the phone. Like it's almost like I always think like, wow, is this what it was like when they first started selling mirrors? Like everybody's like, I see myself. This is
that's
me.
so funny.
But people, you can always tell people's self-esteem by where they put the camera. Yeah. Like certain media pundits on YouTube, the camera's always gonna be down here. Yeah. Right. So they want you to look up like they're the authority. I'm not gonna name names, boys. And then there are other people that be like, hey, I'm here. And then people want to see your butt. Wherever you can see camera placement, and you'll notice even like where the camera placement here. Yeah. It's a very conscious thought, even if it's in your subconscious. So then if you're like the garbage truck guy, instead of like making your Instagram trying to look like Chris Brown or something, just say, hey, this is me. I'm Joe. Today I'm driving a 2-ton truck here. Just make your own, tell your own story.
Yeah.
Like, and then if you do like a minute every day about what you did that day.
Yeah.
After a week, you got 7 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, you can edit it, and then what I discovered, because I'm making films all the time on my phone.
Yeah.
I don't always share everything, but I noticed that over time I can see things manifest.
Yeah.
In my life, like I can see like sometimes like one prime example. One morning I used voice memo just to recall a dream. Like I woke up, hey, and there's unicorns and this happened, right? And it just was stuck in there. And then like a year later, I'm playing the dream back. It's like 5 things that I was talking about that was in my dream, in my subconscious, actually became real.
Yeah.
Like manifested in real life. And I think that's something we never had the technology before, other than if you wrote a diary.
Yeah.
You know, to really see how things that you imagine either reoccur or actually become part of your reality.
Yeah.
So I love the phone for that. And I think, you know, for creatives, it's just a great tool, because writing doesn't always mean physically sitting there. Like you watch Amadeus and motherfuckers be like, and then like writing it, and it's like, no,
it's working it out.
You go to a recording studio, those mugs is humming and singing, they're playing the beats back, they're getting into different.
And that's what comedy is too. It's like you may not know the exact words, but you know the feeling you want to put out there. Right. You know.
Whoopity whoop.
Whoopity whoop. Scoopity scoop. That was the best troll, because he dropped that and the real song at the same time. Right. And the whoopity whoop wasn't available on iTunes or anything. So when you went to search for it, you got the real song. And it was like, perfect. But the other shit was like, I don't know.
But we're just trying to maintain creativity and manifest and make money off this stuff. Yeah. So you're talking a lot about, now your life has changed.
My life has changed. Living in New York, things are going really good. Yeah. Basically, what I'm trying to really come up with a game plan and tackle things now. Because now you got so many examples of how to do it, and it's like, well, I'll do that, but my own stuff. Right. So that's why I was like, Derek, look, we both got TV credits. I was already going on the road, but that was because of my Derek Gaines. No need for apologies. Derek Gaines. I'm like, we both got TV credits, but I know it's hard for him to go on the road because his. I think his situation, they try to focus on him more of like an actor and stuff like that.
He's on Lasso G and a bunch of things,
and my agency, they try to do it all, but I just got a good agency where they just put me on the road. Right. So I was like, in between that, I'll book stuff with you and we'll do the No Need for Apology tour. And we both do 30 minutes of the most unapologetic shit we can come up with, and let's just build a buzz off of that. And I seen that because Plastic Cup Boys, and then the Comedians of Comedy. And I'm like, that's the way you do it. That's the way you build with your friends.
They're about to start selling cheesesteaks here.
I know. So it's like, all right, you gotta go.
No, we're okay.
I think we're good. Yeah, it's 12 o'clock. This is cheesesteak time.